A very good afternoon to all of you. You're watching Midday News. My name is Aditi Nagpal Girotra. Let's get the bulletin rolling with the headlines first. Chairman adjourns Rajya Sabha proceedings till 2 p.m. over opposition uproar on JNU and Kashmir issues. Chairman rejects adjournment notices by members, says it's not a matter to adjourn business. Rajya Sabha congratulates Abhijit Banerjee for winning Nobel Prize for Economics, pays tribute to former Zimbabwean President Robert Mugabe. Surrogacy Regulation Bill 2019, Jallianwala Bagh National Memorial Bill listed in day's business. In Lok Sabha, question hour and zero hour held amid noisy protests by the opposition, Speaker warns of action. Lower House to also discuss Delhi pollution crisis today under Rule 193. NITI Ayog mulls healthcare system for middle class. Think tank proposes healthcare system for those not covered under Ayushman Bharat scheme. Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu adjourned the proceedings of the Rajya Sabha till 2 p.m. over opposition protests on JNU and Kashmir issues. Soon after the House met for the day, Left and other opposition party members raised two issues. Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu said the adjournment notices received from members do not warrant setting aside the listed business of the day. He warned the members that he would be forced to adjourn proceedings if they continued protests. With members unrelenting, the chairman adjourned the House till 2 p.m.
Three people have given notice on 267. It has been a practice not to allow 267 and disturb the House. I am not going to allow it. I have not allowed. 0 hour, Sri Swati Malik. Sri Swati Malik, you will be disturbing the entire House. I will adjourn the House. I will not allow it at all. That is not a matter to adjourn the House and discuss it. It's a matter to be discussed. I am allowing discussion. Rangopal has no. The House is adjourned to meet at 2 p.m.
Earlier, the upper house congratulated Abhijit Banerjee for winning the Nobel Prize for Economics, terming it a matter of great pride for India. Chairman Naidu said that Banerjee, Esther Duflo and Michael Kremer won the prestigious award for their experimental approach to alleviating global poverty.
Honorable members, you are aware, the Royal Swedish Academy of Sciences has decided to award the Severges Riksbank Prize in Economic Science in memory of Alfred Nobel, commonly referred to as the Nobel Prize in Economics, for the year 2019 to Sri Abhijit Banerjee, along with Ms. Esther Duflo and Mr. Michael Kremer for their experimental approach to alleviating global poverty. With this achievement, Sri Abhijit Banerjee has joined the coveted list of Indians and Indian original Nobel laureates. This is indeed a great pride for the entire nation. Sri Banerjee, an Indian origin economist who is currently the Ford Foundation International Professor of Economics at MIT, USA, along with his fellow awardees, have been instrumental in developing a new experiment-based approach in devising methods to fight global poverty and address problems pertaining to health and education. As a direct outcome of this experiment-based approach, more than 5 million Indian children have benefited from effective programs of remedial tutoring in schools. I am sure the whole House will join me in congratulating the Nobel laureate Sri Abhijit Banerjee on his achievement. We wish him very best for the future endeavors.
Earlier, the House paid tribute to former Zimbabwean President Robert Mugabe, who died on 6 September at the age of 95 years. Chairman Naidu described him as a true friend of India and one of the tallest world leaders. Mugabe died on September 6th at the age of 95.
Honorable members, I refer with profound sorrow to the passing away of Mr. Robert Mugabe, former president of Zimbabwe, on the 6th of September 2019 at the age of 95 years. An iconic Pan-African leader, Mr. Robert Mugabe played an instrumental role in leading Zimbabwe to its independence in the year 1980. An ardent votary of African issues and Pan-African unity, he served as the Prime Minister of Zimbabwe from 1980 to 1987 and as the President of Zimbabwe from 1987 to 2017. He devoted his whole life to the benefit of the people of Zimbabwe. He served as the chairman of the non-aligned movement from 1986 to 1989. Mr. Mugabe was a true friend of India and contributed immensely to India-Zimbabwe friendship. His demise is an irreparable loss to the Republic of Zimbabwe and its people. In his demise, the world has lost one of the tallest leaders of our times. This house joins the bereaved family, the government and the people of the Republic of Zimbabwe in mourning the passing away of Mr. Robert Mugabe and conveys its heartfelt condolences to them in their hour of grief. We deeply mourn the passing away of Mr. Robert Mugabe. I request the members to rise in their respective places and observe silence as a mark of respect to the memory of the departed.
Two bills are listed in Rajya Sabha's business today for consideration and passing. The House is slated to take up the Jallianwala Bagh National Memorial Act 1951. The bill provides for the erection of a national memorial in memory of the Jallianwala martyrs. It also seeks to create a trust to manage the national memorial. The Surrogacy Regulation Bill 2019 bill is also listed in today's business. The bill aims to set up national and state surrogacy boards and appointment of appropriate authorities for regulation of the process of surrogacy. Our news correspondent Akhilesh Suman is joining us live from the Parliament House. Akhilesh, which bills are expected to be tabled for consideration in Rajya Sabha after the session resumes at 2 p.m.?
You know, as you told Aditi, that Jallianwala Bagh amendment bill that has been passed by Lok Sabha already, this may come up for consideration and passing because this is coming for a long time and it is not a very complicated bill. This is just a restructuring of the memorial of Jallianwala Bagh where, you know, British general had killed so many people who were fighting for independence of India. So it is, you know, symbolically this is very important bill and this is just pertaining to restructuring of the trust related to maintenance of Jallianwala Bagh. So I think this may come up and this may not take a long time. But you know that since the bill comes for consideration and passing, members, you know, raise many questions not only regarding that particular issue but also issues related to that. So we can expect that members will speak up their mind issues regarding that and also issues relating to maybe another issues relating to independence movement, how the memories of independence are being conducted, and you know that this is the time when members speak up also problems around the issues. So I think the upkeep and maintenance of Jallianwala Bagh may also come up, though government has tried a lot and Jallianwala Bagh area is now a very different area. But let us see that how discussion pans up in the afternoon when members come after lunch break, you know, Aditi.
Akhilesh, we'll get back to you on this discussion, but we'll move on to our next piece of news. Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu has ordered review of the new military-style uniform of Marshals in the House. Uniforms of Rajya Sabha Marshals were restyled in this session from traditional Indian attire, comprising turbans to dark navy blue and olive green military-style outfits with caps. Chairman Naidu said that Rajya Sabha Secretariat had come out with a new dress code for Marshals. However, he stated in the House that he has asked the Secretariat to revisit the dress code after suggestions and comments by politicians and well-meaning individuals.
Honorable members, I have a small observation to make that the Secretariat of the Rajya Sabha, after considering the various suggestions, have come out with a new dress code for the Marshals. But we have received some observation by some political as well as some well-meaning people. So I have decided to ask the Secretariat to revisit the same and then take a conclusion. Thank you.
The Lok Sabha resumed for the second day today amid protests by the opposition on various issues. Opposition members also trooped in the well, raising slogans even as Speaker Om Birla continued the proceedings in the lower house.
यहाँ बेल में खड़े होकर आसन से चर्चा करने की, लेकिन आज के बाद बेल में खड़े होकर आसन से चर्चा न करें, न तो मुझे कार्रवाई करनी पड़ेगी.
Further discussion on the Chit Funds Amendment Bill 2019 will continue in the Lok Sabha today. Minister of State for Finance Anurag Thakur moved the bill for consideration in the Lok Sabha yesterday. The bill seeks to amend the Chit Funds Act 1982, which provides for the regulation of chit funds, which are an indigenous business in India and have conventionally satisfied the financial needs of low-income households. The Lok Sabha will also discuss Delhi pollution crisis today under Rule 193. The issue will be raised by Congress MP Manish Tiwari and BJD MP Pinaki Misra. Let's go back to our news correspondent Akhilesh Suman, who's still live with us from the Parliament House. Akhilesh ji, what is going to be the point of discussion at Lok Sabha today?
You know that, as you told, that cheat fund is a very important bill. Actually, Cheat Fund Amendment Bill is important in a way that, since the banks don't have reach and don't have, their own capacity to reach out to the people in a very far-flung area, in villages, and even to the poor people, the cheat fund, companies emerged, though within the guidelines and registered by, Reserve Bank of India. But there had been many scams and people were duped. So that is why, to tighten the news on the cheat fund, who are running the cheat fund, who are, operating, and also who are victims. So I think this is a very important bill as far as the common people of country is concerned. And I think this will give, a stability in the financial sector also, because cheat fund also comprise of large financial, relations with lots of people in the country. So this is one of the major discussions, and if the bill is passed, this will be really become a very, soothing impact on the people who had been defrauded by the cheat fund companies, especially if you see the north and eastern area like West Bengal, Odisha, Bihar, and many also Assam. So I think this is very important. Another important is, as you told, that Delhi pollution is a major issue, and people all over the world are concerned that how Delhi pollution is not being controlled. So what are the reasons, and the reasons responsibility of officials, and the regions thereof, the responsibility of farmers, all the stakeholders will come up, and this is a very important discussion, because the members who comprises of different political parties, and they are related to also people. So it is really a good discussion, and we will come to know that what are the results, and I expect that minister concerned will also reply on after this debate.
Thank you so much, Akhilesh ji. Seems like sessions at both the houses have started with a bang. Hope it continues like that. Parliament members paid tribute to former Prime Minister Indira Gandhi on her birth anniversary. An event was held in the Central Hall of the Parliament to pay floral tributes to the leader. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla, Deputy Chairman Harivansh, former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, Congress leaders Sonia Gandhi, Ghulam Nabi Azad and senior BJP leader LK Advani were among the leaders who paid homage to Indira Gandhi. With this, we'll halt in for a quick break, but we'll be back soon. Stay tuned with us. Welcome back. Still with us on Midday News. NITI Ayog is mulling building up a healthcare system for the middle class, which is still not covered under any public healthcare system. The government think tank said on Monday that the healthcare system would exclude those covered under the newly launched Ayushman Bharat scheme that mainly caters to the bottom 40% population of the country. Launching the health system for a new India, building blocks, potential pathways to reform report, NITI Ayog said India has low-level and very fragmented risk pooling, with household out-of-pocket funding at 64% of total expenses, dominating the overall system financing. The report was released by NITI Ayog Vice Chairman Rajiv Kumar in the presence of Bill Gates, the co-chairman of Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation.
Our health system, like many other parts of the society, out with a huge dualism. We have and we have nots, and the dualism meaning that, there is this 2% who go to the best hospitals, etc., but the rest, 8 stops and unclearing. So how do we eliminate this dualism in our society, in our health system? And I think that's the key that we need to get at.
This book focuses on 2 key components of the health system: financing as well as organization and provision of health service delivery, specific recommendations regarding health financing in general and risk pooling in the health sector in particular, strategic purchasing, health service organization and provision, and digital health are detailed in the book.
Bill Gates said India's future is very bright because of its young population and highlighted that human capital of any country is a sum total of its healthcare, educational and nutritional investment for citizens.
India is the country we've done by far the most work in, and I'm pleased to say that the improvements in the Indian health system over the last decade have been very, very significant. It was referred to that new vaccines have been introduced for diarrhea and pneumonia. The vaccine coverage, even in some of the states where the coverage level was quite low, has been improved quite substantially. Now, almost 90% coverage.
Union Health and Family Welfare Minister Harshvardhan said that the government's priority is to make quality primary healthcare available to every family. Inaugurating the World Conference on Access to Medical Products, Achieving SDG Goals 2030, Harshvardhan said that the government is aiming to set up 40,000 health and wellness centers by next year. At present, 27,000 such centers are already operational in different parts of the country. He added that the government is aiming to set up 1.5 lakh health and wellness centers by 2022 under Ayushman Bharat Yojana. The objective of the 3-day conference is to explore new approaches in innovation landscape in medical products for achieving the universal health coverage and SDG's 2030 goals.
भारत में जो प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी का एक सपना है कि जो सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंटल गोल्स हैं, जो खासकर जो हेल्थ से जुड़े हुए इश्यूज़ हैं, उनको हमें समय से पहले पूरा करके दिखाना है. सारे लोगों को ये मेडिकल प्रोडक्ट्स और जो मेडिकल से जुड़ी हुई चीज़ें उपलब्ध करानी है. किसी को भी इस वजह से बीमार नहीं पड़ने देना या बीमारी उसकी ठीक ना हो पाए, ये नहीं होने देना कि उसको हम जो है दवा नहीं पहुंचा पाए, उसके लिए हम कोई अप्लायंस या इक्विपमेंट या जो भी चीज़ की जो ज़रूरत थी जिस स्थान पर वो नहीं पहुंचा पाए. तो ये कैसे बेहतर ढंग से करना, इसके लिए ये मीटिंग है.
Philanthropist and Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates on Monday met Prime Minister Narendra Modi in Delhi. Gates, who is also the co-chair and trustee of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, is on a 3-day visit to India to review the work of his foundation in the country. An avalanche hit an army patrol in Siachen Glacier on Monday. 4 army personnel and 2 civilian porters were killed. A group of 8 persons, including 6 army personnel, were struck by the avalanche at an altitude of 19,000 feet around 3 p.m. on Monday. 2 army personnel have survived the avalanche. Rescue teams from nearby posts were rushed to the location after the incident. All 8 persons were pulled out of the debris. However, 6 succumbed to their injuries. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh expressed his condolences to the bereaved families. In a tweet, he said he was deeply pained by the demise of soldiers and porters due to avalanche in Siachen. Indian Space Research Organisation will launch its Earth imaging and mapping satellite, Cartosat-3, along with 13 commercial nano-satellites from the US next week. The satellites would be launched by PSLV C-47 from Satish Dhawan Space Centre at Sriharikota in Andhra Pradesh on November 25th. The Cartosat-3 is a third-generation agile advanced satellite having high-resolution imaging capability. And now let's take a look at climate and environment change news. A research by Harvard University says that a unit of solar or wind power installed in India will reduce carbon dioxide emissions to a larger extent than in China or US. The higher effectiveness of renewable energy projects in India is because the country's power sector is heavily dependent on coal and fossil fuels. India's coal plants are most harmful as they lack emission treatment equipment and because of their close proximity to populated areas. The greater role that renewable energy projects in India can play in reducing CO2 emissions makes the nation a significant player in containing natural disasters caused by climate change. Now, on to sports news. Indian women cricket team has defeated West Indies by 5 runs in 4th 2020 International in Guyana on Monday. Indian women team now leads the 5-match series 4-0 after sealing the series in the 3rd game. In the rain-marred 4th 2020 International, which was reduced to a 9-over-a-side match, Indian women's team made 50 for the loss of 7 wickets. The Indians then bowled and fielded with discipline to restrict the West Indies team to 45 for 5 in their 9 overs. The 5th and final 2020 international match will be played on Thursday. And with this, it's a wrap on this edition of Midday News. Thank you so much for joining us.